I tie the last pink balloon to the fence post and step back, taking in the backyard. For a moment, it looks like a scene straight out of a fairy tale. 9 place settings sit perfectly on the picnic table, each napkin folded into little crowns. The bounce house, a $275 impulse purchase that made my credit card groan, is fully inflated, its princess turrets glinting under the October sun. Mila's birthday cake, a pixelated princess from her favorite video game, rests on the dessert table. 9 candles standing at attention. Perfect. I whisper it, even though no one is around to hear. I check my watch again. 11:42. Mom and my sisters should be here by now. They promised to come early to help with setup. But those promises, as usual, evaporated like morning mist. The sliding glass door squeaks open, and Mila spins into the yard, her new birthday dress sparkling in the sunlight. Purple, her favorite color. She twirls once, twice, then freezes. Her eyes sweep the empty backyard. Where's Grandma? Aunt Savannah? Aunt Lacey? And Tyler, are they coming with them? Did they even see the bounce house yet? I force a smile. They're on their way, sweetie. Probably just running a little late. Her face droops for a split second, then she rebuilds her grin. Okay, I'll watch for them from the front window, she declares before dashing inside. I bite the inside of my cheek and taste copper. I should have known better than to expect them on time. Or at all. The doorbell chimes. I hear Mila's excited squeal. Rushing around the house, I catch her face falling when she opens the door. Only Aunt Carol stands there, a wrapped gift tucked under her arm. Happy birthday, sweet pea, Carol says, stooping to hug her. Mila hugs back, but peers past her, scanning the empty backyard. Where's Grandma? Aunt Savannah? Aunt Lacey? And Tyler? Are they coming with them? Did they even see the bounce house yet? Carol straightens, eyes flicking to mine over Mila's head. A flash of anger crosses her face, quickly replaced with a practiced smile. I came alone today, honey, but look what I brought you, she says, handing Mila the perfectly wrapped gift. Mila clutches it to her chest, voice small. Thank you. Can I put it with the others? Of course, baby. The party's out back. As Mila disappears inside, Carol closes the door and looks at me. Eleanor and the girls aren't coming, are they? She asks quietly. Before I can answer, my phone buzzes. Don't be dramatic. It's just a kid's party. We'll make it up to her at Christmas. My mother's words burn on the screen. Just my kid's party. Carol sighs, watching my face tighten. She squeezes my arm. I'm sorry, Maya. The doorbell rings again, and this time parents start arriving with their kids. 8 little girls in party dresses, gift bags in hand. Our neighbor from across the street brings folding chairs and juice boxes, while Mrs. Wilson, 2 doors down, contributes a tray of finger sandwiches and a sympathetic smile. For the next hour, I float through the party like I'm underwater, serving cake, snapping pictures, supervising the bounce house. But Mila keeps glancing toward the gate, her excitement dimming every time it opens, and it's not them. Where's Grandma and Aunt Savannah and Aunt Lacey? She asks for the 10th time, tugging at my shirt as I refill the snack bowl. I smooth her hair, forcing cheer. Not sure, sweetie, but look at all your friends who came to celebrate with you. She nods and runs back to the bounce house, but her slumped shoulders tell me the truth. This isn't the first time my family has let her down, and her 9-year-old heart already knows it won't be the last. My mind drifts back to last Christmas. I maxed out my credit card buying presents for everyone. $840 I didn't have. 3 months ago, I covered Savannah's salon rent. $1,650 that I'll probably never see back. Mom's words echo in my head. Maya can handle it. She's good with numbers. Good with numbers, they say, like that magically translates to endless money. Ever since Dad left when I was 20, Mom has treated me like an ATM with legs. "You're the head of the family now," she declared the day after he left, as if his departure had promoted me to the role of financial provider. My phone pings again. Savannah posted on Instagram a photo of her, Mom, Lacey, and Tyler at a fancy brunch. Caption, "Family first." Family first. Right. "Mama?" Mila's voice cuts through my thoughts. She's ready to open her gifts, surrounded by her friends. I tuck my phone away, plaster on a smile, and kneel beside her. As she tears into her presents, her delight is genuine. But after all the gifts are opened, her eyes search mine. Did Grandma forget my birthday? The question pierces me. I open my mouth, but Aunt Carol steps in. "Your grandma has a terrible memory sometimes," she says with a wink. "That just means maybe she'll surprise you another day." Mila brightens at the thought, running back to the bounce house for one last jump before the parents arrive. Carol squeezes my hand. "This isn't right, honey." I nod, silent, unable to argue. When the last child leaves, I retreat to the kitchen with a stack of plates, letting silent tears fall as I wash each one. Through the window, I see Carol helping Mila test her new sidewalk chalk, heads bent together over a rainbow forming on the driveway. My phone buzzes again. "Mom, need $350 for a family emergency. Can you transfer today?" The plate in my hands cracks from my grip. Time for tears is over. A week later, my phone buzzes again, mid-prep for Mila's lunch. Another family request, this time $1,850 for Savannah's Sweet 16. I stare at the screen, the numbers swimming before my eyes. My credit card balance, my daughter's braces fund, none of it can stretch that far. Subscribe for more stories like this one. The morning sun spilled softly across the living room, painting our little space in a warm glow. Mila sat at the kitchen table, her tiny hands twisting the edges of a coloring book page, humming a tune I didn't recognize. It was peaceful, too peaceful for my liking, too easy, like the calm before a storm. I sat with my coffee, staring at my laptop screen. The email about Savannah's Sweet 16 still stung like a slap I couldn't rub off. $1,850 per guest. Cover Grandma's share since she's on a fixed income. My name plastered across the sponsor list. My hard-earned money, earmarked for Mila, expected to vanish into another family extravagance. I ran my fingers through my hair, a knot forming in my stomach. I'd spent years making their emergencies mine, giving them a safety net while their entitlement grew like weeds. And now they wanted me to fund a party for a 26-year-old pretending to be 16, pretending they needed my money. Mila looked up from her coloring, eyebrows furrowed. "Mom, are we going to Aunt Savannah's party today?" Her voice was tentative, aware that the adults in her life often let her down. I froze mid-sip. No, baby, we're not." The words felt heavy, but necessary. Her eyes widened. "Really? But she invited all the cousins." I shook my head gently. "It's okay, sweetie. We'll do something fun just for us." Relief spread across her little face, followed by a shy grin. She trusted me. Her world didn't need their drama. And in that moment, I knew exactly what I had to do. I would stop letting them treat me like an ATM, a fixer, a doormat. The next morning, I made a plan. First, the locks. I called a locksmith named Frank, a cheerful man who whistled while working, installing sturdy deadbolts on the front and back doors. $175. A small price to pay for peace of mind for the first time in years. While Mila napped on the couch, I opened my budget spreadsheet and started calculating all the loans, all the bailouts, all the gifts that had never been repaid. I had a full picture now. 3 years of financial leeching. Total, $23,470. My hands trembled slightly as I typed, but I didn't stop. Each number, each transaction became proof. Proof that I had boundaries to enforce, that my family had crossed the line one too many times. My phone buzzed incessantly, new messages, frantic text. They didn't know yet that the rules had changed. I let it go to voicemail. The emails could wait. Later, I stumbled across the contract for Savannah's Sweet 16, signed 3 weeks before Mila's birthday. They had known they wouldn't show up to her party. They had planned this. My hands clenched into fists. Every promise broken, every smile forced at Mila's expense now made sense. The timeline, the requests for funds, the constant emergencies, they weren't accidents. They were calculated, selfish, deliberate. I remembered Mila's little face scanning the backyard gate, waiting for family that never came. That moment played in my mind like a slow-motion video, her excitement crushed by empty promises. And I would never let it happen again. I sat down at the kitchen table and opened Venmo. My thumb hovered over the screen, contemplating a small but symbolic payment. $1. A single dollar. Not $1,850. Not enough to feel their indulgence, not enough to give them leverage over me. Just $1. In the memo line, I typed one word. Congrats. The confirmation pinged almost immediately. The blue payment button had changed everything. Boundaries had been drawn. My lungs expanded as if I had been holding my breath for a decade. Mila's laughter floated from the living room, arranging her stuffed animals for a tea party. No cousins, no grandmother, no broken promises. Just the joy of a little girl in a safe, loving home. Confronting at the door. By evening, the doorbell rang. I peeked through the peephole. Mom, Savannah, and Lacey, their faces a mix of fury and entitlement. "Maya Allen, open this door right now," my mother barked. I stepped back. Mila appeared behind me, clutching her stuffed rabbit. "Mom, are we going to let them in?" I shook my head, calmly. "No, honey, we're not." The pounding continued. Savannah shouted. Lacey screamed. Their words echoed through the hallway like knives. But I didn't flinch. Not this time. Blue lights flashed across the windows. Police had been called. Of course they had. Threats, family heirlooms. They couldn't tolerate that I finally said no. Officer Thompson stepped inside, calm and professional. He recognized me from Mila's soccer team last spring. I explained everything. The years of financial support, the constant emergencies, the Venmo history, the Sweet 16 contract. He nodded, understanding. He said, "They're used to you taking care of everything. Changing the rules is always hard for people to accept." Within minutes, my family retreated. Furious, but powerless. For the first time, I felt free. Not just financially, but emotionally. A new chapter for us. Mila crawled onto the couch, tiny legs dangling, eyes wide. "Mom, am I not important enough?" My heart ached. I knelt, holding her hands. "You are the most important thing in the world. That's why I protect you from people who don't value us." That night, I tucked her into bed, smiled genuinely for the first time in weeks, and realized we were enough. just the two of us. Over the following weeks, small acts of kindness started to fill the gaps my family had left. Mrs. Wilson brought casseroles. Bethany Thompson sent Mila a handmade birthday card with $3 tucked inside for ice cream. Neighbors offered support without strings. Tatch. They didn't demand, didn't guilt trip, didn't treat generosity as a right. They reminded me that family doesn't have to be blood. Community can be a shield, a safety net, a circle of people who care without taking advantage. I recalculated my budget, excluding all past family emergencies. Suddenly, we had an extra $372 a month. Enough for Mila's braces, enough for her education fund, enough for a summer vacation where she could make memories free of disappointment. Mila and I spent an afternoon at Dairy Dream, sharing a $7 sundae, laughing at silly games of horse on the table. Chocolate smeared across her chin, joy unfiltered, unburdened by adult drama. I captured a photo on my phone, messy, imperfect, radiant. "This is way better than a fancy party," Mila declared. And she was right. Later, Aunt Crawl texted, "You dodged a bullet. Sweet 16 disaster. Complete train wreck." I smiled, a quiet vindication settling over me. For once, justice wasn't about revenge. It was about protecting what mattered most. 2 months later, the emails started again. New invitations, new emergencies. But this time I had a plan. Every transaction documented, every demand met with a clear boundary. And the question echoed in my mind. Could I finally break the cycle completely, or would my family find a way to push me to my limits again? Subscribe for more stories like this. The next few weeks were quiet, almost unnervingly so. No frantic calls, no last-minute emergencies. The silence was unfamiliar, but it was welcome. For the first time, I could breathe without looking over my shoulder. Mila's laughter became the soundtrack of our home, instead of stress, guilt, and manipulation. I started keeping a journal, writing down every interaction, every emotional trigger, every victory in maintaining my boundaries. It was therapeutic, almost like reclaiming pieces of myself I'd lost over the years. Family test boundaries again. Then it happened. A phone call late one evening. My mother's voice, sharp and insistent, demanding help for an unavoidable crisis. I listened quietly, letting the words wash over me like static. "Mom, I'm sorry, I can't," I said calmly. No hesitation, no guilt. She gasped, clearly expecting me to cave, but I didn't. The line went dead, and for the first time, I felt power. I hung up, my chest swelling with relief. Mila peeked out from the bedroom doorway. "Mom, are you okay?" I knelt and hugged her tightly. "I'm better than okay, baby. We're okay. We're safe." I started small, redecorating Mila's room, planning weekend trips, even enrolling her in a coding class she'd always wanted. Money that would have gone into empty promises now built real memories. Evenings were our own little sanctuary. We baked cupcakes, built forts, and read stories under flashlight beams, giggling as shadows danced across the walls. Life became measured in joy, not obligations imposed by others. A month later, they tried again. Emails, calls, even a surprise visit. But I was prepared. Every boundary was firm, every response calm and unyielding. Slowly, the messages stopped. They realized their tactics no longer worked. It was bittersweet. I had no ill will. They were family, after all. But I had to love them from a distance. Protecting Mila came first. And in doing so, I finally protected myself. One Saturday afternoon, Mila and I sat under the backyard tree, swinging gently. She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Mom, I love our little family, she whispered. Tears pricked my eyes. Me too, baby, me too. We're enough, just the two of us. In that moment, I realized I hadn't just survived the chaos, I had grown stronger, wiser, and more capable of defending my peace. Mila's happiness became a shield against the world's demands. Years of bending to family pressure taught me a hard lesson. Generosity without boundaries invites exploitation, but love paired with courage builds strength. We laughed that afternoon, the sun warm on our faces, and I knew, no matter what came next, we had each other, and that was enough. Sometimes breaking free means saying no. Sometimes it means choosing your own family, your own peace, your own joy. And sometimes it means realizing that the most important promises you keep are to yourself and the little hearts you protect. Mila's giggles faded into the evening breeze, a soft echo of resilience and hope. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. The story ends with a lesson. Life will always test your limits. People may try to drain your energy, your money, your time, but boundaries aren't selfish. They're survival, they're love, and they're the foundation on which we build real happiness. The question remains, how far would you go to protect what truly matters?